Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, the chairman and ACA Germany. Germany has been the example to me of how people who want freedom can support those who are in need of freedom. So I appreciate Germany. I'm glad I am here. Yeah, you sit down. Sorry. Yeah, sit down. Yeah. The blood of every slain Ambazonian cries out to us. I'm watching you in Germany and I'm asking the question, can you hear? The silence tells me you haven't. Can you hear the cry of blood? Can you hear? If you can hear, how come you people out here are behaving the way you are behaving? When there is a call from the grave, people respond differently. When there is a call of the dead, people respond differently. Why have you let down your own dead? Why have we let down our dead? Before I go to the difficult questions, let me begin. You join me and we serve some honors to the people who deserve the honors of the Ambazonian people. And we will begin with our fallen soldiers, the slain, who are standing up and giving their blood for the freedom that we all seek. Shall we rise? These are the flowers to them that have gone before us. And we send them our greatest honor of appreciation and humility and thanks, because the only way to freedom is to give your blood. And they have given the supreme sacrifice. And we are here today to say, to honor your blood and to thank you for giving up life, the most precious thing to all humanity, in your quest for our freedom. I am here today in a strange land to honor you with the hope and the dream that those of us you have left behind can rise up and take the freedoms that you died for. I can hear today, kneeling at your graves, be able to say, I believe in freedom. A lot of people believe in freedom. Let your blood be the ear opener so that they begin listening and learning the road which is rugged and hard to freedom land. May you be in peace. We will bring you that freedom when we join you. being a very solemn occasion to honor their blood. The next group of people we have to honor today are the standing soldiers of Ambazonia. Those who, despite the pressure, despite the killings, despite the genocide, are standing up from the coast of Amber Bay to the savannas of Akko to say, we are not the slaves of La République to Cameroon, and we will live in a free country. I honor those soldiers. We honor them. The only message to them from Stuttgart today is just one message. If you are standing up to fight for Ambazonia, look only at the goal of freedom. I am saying this because I hear people say, we are fighting for Mr. X and Y, for Mr. and Mrs. X and Y. That is not nationhood. Look at your goal of freedom. Look at your nation. Fight for the flag. If you put your faith in that, the Ambazonian soldier, I can promise you, we will be there sooner than later. I would like you to appoint two ladies to help us with something here. Two. Come on. Beautiful people. Just run out, you know? Yeah. There are two photographs here of the greatest men of honor that Ambazonia ever had, which I want to share with you. One person should stand to the right and then another. Yes. Can anyone by any chance recognize these veteran fighters of the Ambazonian struggle? Raise the pictures. Raise them up. Higher. Raise them higher. Can anyone recognize these two gentlemen? To my right, whom do you recognize? His Royal Highness Hon Wirba. To my left, who do you recognize? Papa Joe Litumbe, the veteran. I have a reason for bringing this here today. And it is really unfortunate that these two people who have given me the greatest inspiration to fight, I am coming here after 3 years of being in a larger prison than Kondingi, or a larger prison than my grave, which was the British Isles. After those 3 years, I'm coming out here when Mola has gone to rest. I would like to say today that we honor him. We revere him. We believe in the fight he fought. And that as he rests at the foot of the Fako mountain, we will bring him the story of a free country that he left behind. To my right is His Royal Highness Hon Wirba, to whom we who stand here owe everything about Ambazonia. We owe it to him. He's the grandfather of this struggle. Ambazonia as a name itself, he gave it to us. And at the time he took it up, I remember how many people who were still at the university who used to refer to him, he's a madman. Who can fight the whole government now? He's wasting his time. That is the spirit of the man who can liberate his people. It is both their spirits, I want to promise you, that I carry. Because When you believe in freedom, nothing can stop you fighting for it. Nothing can stop you doing any other thing than getting freedom. This is to honor these two gentlemen. And the one addition I want to put in is an error we have made throughout, because oppression is a very dangerous thing. Because oppression makes you believe in what does not exist. We are a united country. We believed it. People said, no, how can, it's one country. How can you split it? There is nothing to split, because the Southern Cameroonian nation has never, at any one time in the history of the world, been an integral part of La République du Cameroon. Never. It has never been. And I'm looking at these two gentlemen. The battle they put up. His Royal Highness is still alive. He is 93. Tired. And I go to see him, to confer with him, to ask for his blessing. And Papa at his age is still talking and saying, you people move quickly. I want to see the free country before I go. At 93. At 93. And his grandchildren sitting here. Oh, we have done it for 3 years. It is too long. We should end it now. We cannot go on. Look at this gentleman. His back folded over in his 90s, still struggling to say, go for the goal. Go for the goal. Take your country that was stolen. And you, his children and grandchildren, are saying, you are tired? You are talking of freedom and acting as if you want to pick a free country? You fight for it. Man, you damn fight for it. Break your bones and give your life. These are the two people who give me the greatest inspiration. For one reason, I'm just going to tell you a little story, an anecdote. When I took up the battle in the assembly, and you got the news going around the world because of social media, these two veterans called me on separate days and said almost the identical thing. The person who called me first was His Royal Highness and said, how did you do it? Nobody. I want to tell you, even me, I could not dare. In that house, how did you do it? And then he said, and then you make me cry at my age. And he wept. And he wept. And said, I am seeing the sign that that free country is there if you could dare do this. And about a week after, Papa Molanjo called me and said, Wirba, what did you just do? What did you just do? Where did you take the courage from? Now, I now believe that if people like you are now standing up and saying it, we will reach there. It was within an interval of 7 days, these two gentlemen. So they are my greatest inspiration. The last thing I want to say about them before you sit down is that this honor is very special to them. For me, because there is something the French Cameroonians have put down into our psychology, which has ruined our lives till today, to make us believe that we are different. The other people are from the southwest. The others are from the northwest. A nation that was independent at independence in 1960-61, like Southern Cameroons. And somebody tells you it is the northwest and southwest of what? An independent nation becomes a northwest or a southwest of what? which means it is the northwest and southwest of La République du Cameroon. We would end it. We end it. And how did they make sure this became a part of our psyche? One, has any of you ever known the reason that for 50-something years, there was no road linking Buea and Bamenda? It was designed. It was designed. The number of our people who died traveling through East Cameroon to get back to Buea from Bamenda and vice versa. The number of people who died following a 400-mile road that could have been done in 190. Can you believe it? The target was to make us believe that we are different people. And then we started believing it. Everywhere I talk, I always quote my grandfather because I think he was the greatest philosopher that ever lived. He always told us, a man with a large family will have tall children. He will have short ones. He will have brilliant ones. He would have fairly silly guys. Does it make it not to be his children? Does it make somebody who lives in the north and that in the south limit them from being brothers and sisters of the same nation? It does not. So we have to end that beginning today. We have to end that beginning today. I am going to ask everybody to stand up again, because if I point at two people that you have never known and they look like me, can you say who comes from the north or the south? Can you be able to do it? It is sheer stupidity. I want us to look at each other. Look at the person next to you and say, we've been stupid for 60 years and we are wiser now. All right? We've been stupid for 60 years and we are wiser now. Come on. For 60 years.
Justice becomes law. Resistance becomes a duty.
That is what we have done to ourselves. And we kept saying, oh, you know, these are people from the Northwest. They are always like this and like that. Going back to my grandfather, he advised, when you have tall children and short ones, you know his own philosophy? Your short child will have no reason to be piling chairs to pick bananas from, because he can fall and break a leg. Because that child can fall and break a leg, and then you'll be looking for someone to repair a broken bone. That is the reason for tall and short children, for fair-colored and darker ones. That is the reason. We have to start getting out of that stupidity from this moment. All I know is the nation of Ambazonia is one, brilliant, wholesome, and beautiful. And very beautiful. As a nation, we will always have taller people and shorter people. We will always have people who are braver than others. We will always have people who are different. Oh, for people who have had the fortune, even of bearing twins. The two guys come out from the same womb. Do they look the same? And then you want us to be the same in one way. Somebody has to live down south. Somebody has to live up north. So that what cannot be produced in the south can be brought in from the north. And what cannot be done in the north can be brought in from the south. And with that, I would plead with the gentle ladies to please, can we sit down now and we give the last honors to people who we can respect with all our lives. You can leave them there. The reason you are sitting down is because the next honors we need to give are to people who would usually sit down or lie down to give birth to us. the women of Ambazonia. We give you the greatest honor we can today because you have seen it all. If it is the children they are killing, they are yours. If it is the men they are burning down, they are your husbands, they are your fathers. If it is the mothers who are being broken, they are your mothers, just like they are ours. So we give our greatest honor to a Ambazonian woman because she has borne the brunt of this struggle. They have borne the brunt of this struggle, and we should give them that respect. I would like us to give a loud cheer and a big clap to the Ambazonian woman for her courage. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Now, we were at a stage where we needed to give these honors. And there's something here I want us to begin today's discussion with. We are in Germany. And I would like to start this by introducing myself. Because when people refer to me as a certain person, I feel uncomfortable. Why I'm saying it is because I'm a rebellious person. And when people start making me feel that I am very important, I start feeling ashamed. Because that is how something runs into your head and you start mistreating people because you think you are different. The power of symbols. As the blood of every slain Ambazonian cries out, we have to associate something to it. The power of symbols. The biggest Ambazonian symbol is what? The flag. The flag people fight and die for. And the next is what? The anthem. The next is the anthem. So we are now looking for other symbols to start attaching to the process of liberation. We are looking for those symbols. Willie, yes, I heard you, and we saw you, and we appreciate you, Willie. You and your artists of Ambazonia now have a task. No free nation goes to freedom without song and dance that identifies them as a people. Go now to your workrooms and begin the process of giving us freedom songs. That said, the next symbol we are going to focus on is we need to build things around which our revolution evolves. We need to build an identity for the Ambazonian revolution. And how do you do that? You do not do that because we mentioned two things here, that the first one was the flag, the second was the, yes. But what I have noticed sitting quietly in Britain for 3 years is that the third symbol of our struggle, at least in the diaspora, is self-injury, fighting each other. That is the best identity that has come out of all we have been doing. And that identity is the one we need to put behind, to put away, and keep looking at what? The goal of freedom. There is something we are going to be doing here today throughout this evening. Shall we all rise? If you came here without the energy to go fight, to liberate Ambazonia, I am sorry. I will not apologize. That is why the chairperson of the German ACA sent out information saying we were asking believers in the Ambazonian struggle to come here. And if I came here and saw 7 of them, I would know that we are ready to take a free country. Because believers are the people who drive the engine of freedom. Because the people who go for freedom as it is are not people who just want the casual thing. They are ready to do the difficult thing. So, we have a new symbol. We have a new symbol. And that new symbol, what I'm going to first of all announce is, we have people in this hall. I do not know if everybody who is standing here before us is a believer in Ambazonian freedom. But if anyone is not, I would advise them that before we begin the next segment, you will be better off outside of this hall than inside, because the things we are going to say and do could burn you down and burn your spirit down. So from today onwards, we have a pledge. You saw me kneel down to the foreign soldiers. We have a pledge to the blood of Ambazonian that has flown. We will be taking that pledge at every turn, that we have something that has to do with the Ambazonian struggle. We will be taking the pledge all the time to remind us that this is no child's play. It is something for which we are committing. I want to give a second chance to anybody here who is not a believer in freedom to please step out. And if you are not a believer in Ambazonian freedom, please step out, because we could do something that could harm you. Yes, I'm serious about it. Right. As we have our hands across the chest to sing the anthem, shall we have them there and repeat these words? Upon the blood of every slain Ambazonian, we each stand and pledge to fight with everything it takes to liberate our beloved homeland. Hear me go through it. Upon the blood of every slain Ambazonian, we each stand and pledge to fight with everything it takes to liberate our beloved homeland. It is a very important factor. Shall we go through that again? Upon the blood of every slain Ambazonian, we each stand and pledge to fight with everything it takes to liberate our beloved homeland. Thank you very much. You may sit down. Thank you.
If you want to take that territory by force,
it will never be taken. It will never be taken. Never. It will never be taken. Now, let's get down to the business of the day. The honors were over. We now have a pledge. Let's get down to the business of the day. And I want to say I am proud to be in Germany once more. And I'm going to tell you a little story about how much I fell in love with something German, and I did not know that that thing would change my life and influence my life for all time. I was a high school student, and philosophy was introduced as a new subject that year in high school. And I chose to go and do it. Then I met the best friends I could ever make through reading. Karl Marx and Friedrich Hegel And I said, my God, these guys, they really say some interesting things. And I took them down. Little did I know that my attachment to those little things they said simply meant I was as good a rebel as they were, because both gentlemen died in exile. They were pushed out of Germany. So I wouldn't be surprised. I hope it shouldn't happen. I want to go back to a free country. I mustn't die in exile. Yes. So, W.H. Hegel says, and I quote, Freiheit erlangt man nur, indem man sein Leben aufs Spiel setzt. End of quote. English version, it is solely by risking life that freedom is obtained. It is solely. Solely in English means the only way. Solely in English means it is unique. There are no two ways to read. I am giving this citation because we have behaved as if there are two ways to freedom. There are none. There's just one way. The hard way, the only way. No nation has ever been free without giving its blood. No nation has ever been free without giving its blood. That's why I'm saying if there's anyone here who doesn't believe in freedom, leave. Because the things we are going to hear here, if you start matching it with the political statements we've been making and flying all over the internet, we will not get to freedom. We will not get to freedom. And we should because, and we must because, there are believers who are ready to do what? Risk life to get freedom. The soldiers on the ground who are standing and dying, they are risking what? Life to get freedom. All our mothers who've been burned down in the ongoing genocide are doing what? They are risking what? Life to get freedom. We cannot do it without it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the core of what we need to know in fighting for freedom. We will be going step by step, and I will let you know exactly what we need to do to get to where we want to be. Mr. Chairman of the SCA, I appreciated your introductory word in welcoming us. And I would like now that we move to the second part, which would be, I want to update the Ambazonian nation from the homeland to ground one and to the diaspora that have spent 3 years in the United Kingdom on exile. And I want to update you as a people and then show you the power there is in walking in discretion. Because my outcry from when I got out here was to tell the diaspora, I think you are running in the wrong direction. And nobody listened. Then I keep saying the same things and nobody's listening. So, what I want to do here is to update you so that people begin to learn. Liberators, revolutionaries, people who want freedom, they walk in what? In discretion. When we did the book launch in London 3 years ago, I told you people that the work of liberation is done in the back rooms. It is done in the back rooms. You cannot do liberation from your market square. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. How do you allow your oppressor to know how you think? And then you think you will beat him? How do you permit that? Then when someone like me, when I'm running away from everybody else, oh, he doesn't talk to people. You know, he's just sitting there. He's doing nothing. And I'm saying, if I have the work of liberation to do, I don't owe it to anybody to explain. Because if we want a free country, every individual will make a choice on their own. I believe in freedom. I listened to Willie, and he stirred me up. Willie, I thank you very much. You choose, you made a decision. And the cause for liberation needs people who stand up and say, hey, I'm not going to take this. Does any of you believe that I took a risk on my life doing what I did in the National Assembly? I don't know. All right. I'm just saying that. Yes. I'm just saying that in order to clear the air, all right.
That we call yours. People can do what has been done to our children in West Cameroon. I call it West Cameroon because we will never take it out of our mouths again. Let's start to end.
Not ever. They will never take it out of our mouths again. I was just saying something that if you believe that that I took a risk on behalf of all of you. Because when I stood in that house, I reminded the speaker that I know his security apparatus in the assembly has 16 gendarme officers. So I was sure they would take me down. And when it turns out that I run away to secure my life, because I believe, like Bob Marley says, he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. Can anybody want to believe that I did all of that? Ran away to Nigeria, went and came back and said, we will begin from where we stopped. That I did all of that in order to come out to the diaspora and compete with internet politicians over a contest about whether who is ahead of what. No liberator does that. A liberator does not know if he will last another 24 hours. So a liberator can never actually be preparing himself to have a seat. Where? The only seat that belongs to a liberator, first, is his grave. Second, a prison cell. Third, exile. And I want you to celebrate with me that I am not in the first two. I want us to celebrate this, that I'm not in the first two, because they have given me a chance to undo what we have not been able to do for long. That chance is there. And the believers in freedom will get the job done. So the work I have been doing for 3 years has consisted of working with the MPs in the House of Commons and the House of Lords in the UK, just to tell our story. Because there is one presumption we have had out here in the diaspora, that when we go and demonstrate, demonstrations have their place in a struggle. When we go and demonstrate in Berlin, in Stuttgart, the whole of the German government have now known that we have a problem, so they will solve it. It's not true. They have their own problems. They have their own issues to handle. So I went around making sure I was telling the story to the right people. And believe you me, you would not believe the level of ignorance. I have had 4 cabinet ministerial meetings. I mean, real cabinet meetings of British ministers. I mean, I don't mean the ones on the internet who are quarreling with everybody, you know. I mean, real ministers. We have sat down and I'm telling your story to them so that they should understand, so that they should know. And I was surprised. And one of them told me, hey, when someone told me 2 years ago that Cameroon had a problem and that the problem was because of English language, I was wondering because I know this is a French country. How can English be a problem in a French country? That is how much we had been reduced to the northwest and the southwest of what? I'm glad you remember. So we've been telling these stories and moving the ball forward. The rest of the things are not things that we discuss in places like this, because those things are not done in the market square. There are people who would trust you with information that if they ever heard it out, it's finished. You can never knock their door and they open. So that's how careful we've been with that. Then the famous thing that is taking us around, the Swiss process. The Swiss process. I have had 4 official meetings with HD in the past 2 years. I had a 5th in a private capacity. And I want to tell you, I went through all those meetings, putting them to task, going through the motions, because I know how peace processes work. I have never participated in any, but I have learned, I have met people, I have gone to places where peace processes were conducted, and I know how they are done. And when I met them, I asked for the basics that makes the foundation for a peace process to stand. I found none. I am saying this today because these are meetings that have been going on in the past. I found none. It is no discredit to HD, because when they came to me, I advised them. I said, look, the problem we have, Southern Cameroonians, the problem they have with the Republic, with La République du Cameroon, is a situation and a dangerous situation of a stolen state. They stole our state of Southern Cameroon and want to make it an appendage of La République du Cameroon. If you people want to participate in this and want to invite us, I want to see the basics. Because the question I ask every time I go to anything is, what is in it for my people? What is in it for my people? Then I saw HD rushing. Peace processes are never rushed. That was the first red sign that I saw. They were rushing. Oh, you know, we just want to do this here and do this here. I said, that's not how it works. When you bring me A, B, C, there will be proof that the person killing us has recognized that they need to stop and want us to talk with them. If A, B, C, which I cannot name to you, are not there, then all of these things you are saying are nothing. Because the Southern Cameroonian people, as a nation, they deserve better respect. I took my time and analyzed it to them. Officer after officer, they sent me 7 different people. This one will come with another one. They bring this other person. And I talked to them. I said, look, this is not how it works. The process works this way. And I gave them advice. I said, look, in my culture, a man can carry an empty pot, large empty water pot to the stream. But when he fills it with water, he would need other men to do what? to put it on his head. If he tries to do it alone, the risk is double. Either he's going to break his backbone or the pot is going to break, which means I told HD, you are punching above your weight. If you think that the problem we have, because Paul Biya is a citizen of your country. Switzerland is Paul Biya's best friend. Our stolen resources are stashed in Swiss banks. And you want to give me the impression that you can be a referee in a game between us and the Republic? It's false. That was a simple analysis I gave them. I said it's false. But you can get people to help you. So I'm here to say, in those meetings, I found out that there was nothing that could be beneficial to the southern Cameroonian people who had been deprived of their nationhood. Because perhaps in HD's mind, they presumed erroneously that our problem was like, well, what is happening in Central Africa, you know, what is happening here and there. I said, please, it's not. A state was stolen. We want to break the bones of the thief and take it back. We want to break the bones of the thief and take it back. So that said, you people must have heard that I wrote a book. You must have heard. I wrote a book some time ago. Yes, the Wirba Force. And while I've been waiting for these 3 years, I've been asking myself, following my grandfather's standard advice, when you are a fallen soldier, you can still load the kind of gun you can shoot from a lying position. When your legs are no longer strong to stand and shoot a bow and arrow, you can still make the type of bow and arrow that you can shoot from a sitting position. So I started looking into myself and finding out, what is it I have that can go to the service of the Ambazonian people, that can go to the service to give them relief in the struggle that I can no longer participate in on the front line. So I started writing letters. Just letters. Writing letters to people, pleading, literally on my knees. These are my people. These are the hundreds of thousands in refugee camps. These are the ones in jail. This is what is happening here. This is what is happening here. And your young brother is here, Dr. Mofo, and I told him, you know something? He said, no. I said, I think we need a vast amount of money to start doing work for our people. And now that I'm sitting here doing nothing, and I cannot even travel, what do we do? This is the process I have taken. And I wrote letters to organizations, to people, good people. Sooner or later, they started responding. And it was very simple. All I did was, I would write a letter to a certain Mr. X, organization X, and say, my people are in trouble. There's an ongoing genocide in my homeland. This is the state of this. This is the state of this. This is the state of this. I am pleading with you to please sign a copy of one book and give us a donation that can give even water to children who are starving in refugee camps, to prisoners who have nothing to eat, and people who are humane understood it and started responding. Mofo, would you mind helping me in the process of, updating our people about the things, that have happened as a result of all of the letters we've written and how people have responded and what we've been able to put together to begin certain elementary pieces of work. I will be pledging with your indulgence to be patient Yes, to be patient, because sorry, sir?